Hello, everyone. My name is Waleed, and I own a couple of properties in the Caribbean. I own a home in St. Lucia that I use as a high-end luxury vacation rental for travelers. I also own a home in Jamaica, and I do the same thing there. My property in Jamaica is a high-end luxury vacation rental, and I hope that maybe someday, if you are traveling to St. Lucia or to Jamaica, that you would consider staying at one of my properties. A little bit about myself. Here in New York, I am pest control professional. So I'm always interested in critters and different insects and different animals. And I thought it would be interesting to take a look at some of the critters and that people may have to worry about when they are in Jamaica. So I want to do a reaction to a video that explores some of the fascinating creatures in Jamaica, some of which I have personally had encounters with, and I'll talk to you about that. Let's take a look at this video.
Welcome to Rate JA, where we rate everything Jamaica. In Jamaica, a single moment of carelessness, one simple mistake, can lead to days of agonizing, burning pain. The culprit is often unseen, hiding where you feel safest, and it's a potent reminder that in paradise, danger can be closer than you think. We're going to rank the 10 most medically significant toxic creatures in Jamaica and find out what, if anything, could possibly be worse. Let's begin. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a creature almost every Jamaican has had a run-in with. They build their paper-like homes under the eaves of our houses and in the branches of our mango trees, guarding them with a fiery passion. The paper wasp. The paper wasp is venomous. Its weapon is a smooth stinger that it can use over and over again. While a single sting is a sharp, painful lesson in keeping your distance, the real danger isn't the pain, it's the venom itself. For those with allergies, a sting can trigger anaphylactic shock, a life-threatening reaction that can close the throat. If you get stung, a simple cold compress can help. But if you feel dizzy or have trouble breathing, get medical help immediately. Coming in at number 9, we're diving beneath the crystal clear Jamaican waves. But not everything.
One thing that I can tell you about the paper wasp is that I did encounter these wasps personally in Jamaica. I remember after I purchased my home in Jamaica, when I finally had access to my property, when I went around the property, I saw tons of these paper wasp nests all over the property. They were out on the outside of the property, on the fencing. They were inside the property, around the windows and doors. They were just all over the property. And so me having a pest control background, it wasn't too much of a problem at all for me to dismantle each of the nests without getting any bites or injuries from these paper wasps. But I did encounter them myself, and they are very common, and they were all over my property, but I did get rid of them.
Beautiful is safe to touch. The bearded fireworm. It looks like a harmless, brightly colored sea caterpillar slowly crawling over the reef. But those beautiful white bristles are its secret weapon. They're hollow needles filled with a powerful neurotoxin. If a curious diver gets too close, those bristles break off in the skin, delivering a sensation of pure fire, like handling fiberglass underwater. The surprising first aid? Don't rub it. Use adhesive tape to gently pull out the invisible spines, then apply a little rubbing alcohol. It's a native to our waters and a potent reminder to always look but never touch. At number
one of the words that the gentleman in this video used to describe this bearded worm is beautiful. In my opinion, there is nothing beautiful about that thing. And one of the things that you would never have to tell me is not to touch it. If I saw that thing in the water, I would not think that it was beautiful, and I would definitely not be interested in touching it. Who would want to touch something like that? That's the craziest looking thing.
Number 8, we find another deceptive beauty on the reef. It looks like a delicate branching plant, but it's an animal with a hidden sting. Fire coral. This is a classic welcome to the Caribbean experience for many snorkelers. Brush up against what you think is a piece of rock and you're met with an instant burning sting. Fire coral is venomous, its entire surface covered in tiny invisible stingers that fire on contact. The result is an itchy, painful rash that can last for days. The best way to treat it is to rinse with seawater and then apply a little vinegar to neutralize the sting. Our number
That fire coral is I don't know how anybody would mistake that thing for rock. It does look more like a coral. It does look like some kind of a animal. And again, it is one of those things that I would not want to touch. If I was scuba diving or deep sea diving and I saw this, I would steer clear of it. I wouldn't get anywhere near it. I wouldn't be curious to touch it or investigate it. I do know that a lot of coral is poisonous, and they have all kinds of defenses and all kind of venoms and poisons. Some of them use these venoms and poisons as a defense. Some of them use these poisons and venoms as a way of hunting and killing prey. Some animals, get too close or touch the coral and they're poisoned and paralyzed, and then the coral pulls them in. It's all kinds of things that I am aware of when it comes to different coral type of organisms that live under the sea, and I don't want to encounter them. I wouldn't want to touch them or rub up against them. I'll steer as far away from them as I possibly can.
7 entry is not a resident of Jamaica, but a visitor, an unwanted guest brought in by the wind and currents, trailing beautiful, deadly ribbons behind it. The Portuguese man o' war. Despite its appearance, this isn't a jellyfish. It's a colony of organisms, and its tentacles, which can stretch for up to 30 feet, are covered in thousands of venom-filled harpoons. A sting from a man o' war is excruciating, leaving behind whip-like welts on the skin. The pain can be so intense, it can lead to nausea and shock. If you see one washed up on the beach at places like Long Bay or Boston Bay, stay clear. Even when dead, its sting remains potent. The creature at number 6 is...
With that man o' war creature, I don't know if it's just me, but comment below. Would you, if you saw that on a beach, would somebody have to tell you not to touch it? Is that something that you would want to explore? I mean, I don't, it might catch people's attention. It's a weird looking thing. It's different looking, but is it something that I would want to touch? Would you touch something like that if you saw it on the beach, or would you steer away from it and keep your family away from it, keep your kids away from it, keep your, Who would want to touch that? Would you? Comment below.
Perhaps the most disastrous animal ever introduced to Jamaica. It was brought here in 1844 to solve one problem, but ended up creating a dozen more. The cane toad. This is our first poisonous animal on the list. The massive cane toad holds its toxin in two large glands behind its eyes. It can't bite you or sting you, but if a curious dog mouths one, the powerful cardiac poison can be fatal. For humans, the risk is lower, but getting the milky white toxin in your eyes or mouth can cause severe irritation and requires immediate flushing with water. It's an invasive menace and a reminder that not all toxins are injected. For number
Well, it seems like this frog is not such a big danger to us humans. It doesn't bite. It doesn't have any way of getting the poisons into us, and I don't think that there are many people who are going to want to handle a frog. And If someone did handle a frog, I would think that they would be smart enough to wash their hands before they touch their face or touch their eyes, or or ate some food and put it in their mouth, because that's the only way that it seems that a human can get the poison from this little toad. So they don't seem to be as dangerous as some of the other creatures on this list of critters.
5 spot, we're back in the shallow sandy waters of the coast. You're wading out for a swim and you accidentally step on something hidden in the sand. The stingray. The sting of a southern stingray is the stuff of legend. This venomous creature's primary danger is its tail, a serrated bony barb that can inflict a deep traumatic wound. As the barb enters, it injects a powerful, pain-inducing venom. The key to first aid is twofold. First, do not pull out the barb if it's deep. Second, immerse the wound in hot water to break down the venom. It's a defensive weapon, a last resort for a creature that just wants to be left alone. The creature at number 4.
One of the things that I can say about the stingray. The stingray is very beautiful. It is, by nature, is very docile, very gentle, very, it's it's extremely gentle, but it can be deadly. And one of the most famous instances of how deadly a stingray can be was the Crocodile Dundee guy. I don't know if you guys remember the Crocodile Dundee guy from Australia. That was how he died. He died as the result of getting stingray barb. The stingray, in defense, stabbed him in his chest, and the barb lodged into his chest, and he died as a result of that. And Crocodile Dundee was someone who was very world famous around the world for wrestling with crocodiles and alligators and tackling tigers and big dangerous animals and walking away to tell the tale. And it was a little ironic that one of the most gentle creatures, a stingray, I don't know how he got attacked by the stingray. I don't know if he was walking on the seabed and the stingray, maybe he stepped on one accidentally. Maybe he didn't see it, because stingrays can camouflage themselves very well. So maybe he accidentally stepped on one. I don't know if he was crazy enough that if he saw a stingray, he probably was playing with it or petting it or doing something, and it was the last thing that he ever did, because he died as a result of stingray uh, uh, getting a barb into his chest. So that was one of the most famous instances of someone being killed by a stingray.
Is a silent hunter of the night. It's a master of hiding in the dark corners of our homes, and its calling card is a sharp, burning sting. The scorpion. Everyone in Jamaica has a healthy fear of scorpions. These native nocturnal hunters are venomous, delivering a dose of neurotoxin from the barb at the end of their tail. The venom of our local species isn't considered deadly to a healthy adult, but the sting causes immediate, sharp pain, swelling, and often a tingling numbness. For children or the elderly, the reaction can be more severe. A cold compress is your best friend after a sting, but always monitor for more serious symptoms. At number 3, we have an animal that strikes more prime.
One of the things that I can say about the scorpion is thank God I haven't encountered one. I know that the chances of encountering one, especially at night, because they do hunt at night, is much greater. At my home in Jamaica, I do love to spend a lot of time in my garden. I have a very big garden, and I like to spend a lot of time in my garden. And I do quite often spend time in my garden at night. Sometimes at night, I like to go out and sit by the poolside. Sometimes I like to just lounge in my garden at night. Is very relaxing. It's very cool at night. And at night, when I am in my garden, I have seen all kind of creatures. I've seen different types of frogs and toads. I've seen different types of lizards. I've seen all kinds of insects. I've seen bats flying around, but I've never seen a scorpion. So I'm glad for that.
Primal fear into the hearts of Jamaicans than almost any other. It's not just its bite, it's its speed, its aggression, and its sheer number of legs. The centipede, or 40-leg. The 40-leg is legendary for its agonizing, venomous bite. It doesn't use fangs, but a pair of modified legs under its head that act like powerful pincers, injecting a venom designed to cause one thing: extreme pain. A bite from a large centipede is a uniquely traumatic experience, a burning, searing pain that can last for days. They hide in shoes, in laundry, in bedding, a constant reminder to always shake things out before you use them.
Now, I don't know if it is just me, but did you guys see that guy letting this centipede walk on his head? Is that insane? Comment below. What do you think of that? Would you let a centipede walk on your head? I can tell you, in Jamaica, I have never had an encounter with a centipede in Jamaica, but I have had encounters with centipedes in St. Lucia. Um, in St. Lucia, I remember there was a time when I was in my home in St. Lucia. In the middle of the night, I woke up and I made my way from my bed into my living room, and my slippers were in the living room. And I went to put my slippers on, and not really paying attention, I slipped my foot into my slipper, and the next thing I know, I feel a pinch and then an instant burning sensation around my ankle, on the inside of my leg at my ankle. And I'm like, what the hell? And I looked down and it was this long centipede. It must have been like about 10 inches long, and it was pretty big. And it's it the bite was pretty big, and I was so pissed off. After it bit me, it started to run. And I was so angry and I was so pissed off. And now I had my slippers on my feet. And I chased this thing around my living room and ran under the sofa. I turned the sofa over and I finally managed to, with my slippers on my feet, I managed to stomp this thing. And I stomped the hell out of that thing and I killed it on the spot. And it was funny because once I stepped on it, a little bit of pus came out of it, but this really weird smell. It's like a chemical type of oily type of smell came out of that centipede. I don't know if that was some of the toxins or venoms that was coming out of the centipede after I killed it, but it did have a really weird smell, and that was my own personal encounter with a centipede. Again, I never had an encounter with a centipede in Jamaica, but I did have an encounter with a centipede in Jamaica. I mean, in St. Lucia. I've seen centipedes here in New York, but much smaller ones, not quite as big as what I saw in St. Lucia.
Our runner-up for the most toxic animal in Jamaica is not from here. It's a beautiful hypnotic invader that has completely changed our marine ecosystem, the lionfish. The lionfish is a masterpiece of evolution and one of the most successful invasive species on the planet, and it's dangerously venomous. Those elegant flowing fins are actually 18 needle-sharp spines, each ready to deliver a powerful neuromuscular toxin. The sting is immediate and excruciating, a throbbing pain that can lead to dizziness and nausea. But here's the amazing thing. This venom is broken down by heat. The most effective first aid is to immerse the wound in hot water for at least 30 minutes. It's a painful encounter, but one that has a surprisingly simple solution. And here we are, the number one most...
One of the things that I can say about the lionfish is that the lionfish is a very, very expensive delicacy. In a lot of places around the world, um, the lionfish is on the menu. And the funny thing about that is that even for the people who are brave enough to fish for lionfish, and the people who are brave enough to cook and prepare lionfish, even though the lionfish may be dead, they still have to be careful about how they handle the lionfish. When they're deboning it, they have to make sure none of those barbs stick them, because although the lionfish may be dead, its venoms and its toxins are still very potent. So they have to be very careful about how they handle it. By the time that they do cook it and prepare it, it's not, all the toxic barbs have been removed, and by the time it's plated in front of someone, it's a delicious meal, from what I've been told, and very expensive.
medically significant toxic animal in Jamaica. It's not the biggest nor the fastest, but it's an animal you have almost certainly shared a space with this week, this day, maybe even in this very room. The brown widow spider. The brown widow is venomous and its neurotoxin is, drop for drop, more potent than that of its infamous cousin, the black widow. Its fangs are small and its temperament is timid, but a defensive bite delivers a toxin that can cause intense pain, muscle spasms, and high blood pressure, a condition serious enough to require a hospital visit. And where do they live? Everywhere. They build their messy, tangled webs under our patio chairs, in our garden sheds, and in our garages. They are the silent, hidden danger that has truly mastered living alongside us. So there you have it. Knowledge is your best defense. We want to hear from.
Did you guys notice that in that little segment about the spider, that there was some idiot that had the spider walking on their hand? I don't understand these people. I don't know if this person who has the spider walking on his hand is just ignorant and doesn't know that this is a venomous spider and that this spider can administer a very painful bite. So yeah, I don't understand that. I do like spiders in a sense that spiders can be a very beneficial insect, and even centipedes, even though I don't like them either. But centipedes can be beneficial because their main diet is eating other insects. Spiders and centipedes, they will eat roaches and ants and all kinds of other insects, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, they are venomous, and occasionally we will get bites and painful bites from these insects, and that's the downside. Even though they do eat other insects, which is beneficial, nobody wants them around, and I certainly will not have a spider crawling on my hand or on my body intentionally. I certainly wouldn't have a centipede crawling on my head like that fella earlier, that we saw the fella earlier in the video letting a centipede crawl around on his head. If that thing bites him on his head or his face, those toxins are right there, right next to his brain. Anyway, I want to take the time. I want to take this time to thank you for watching this video to the end. I hope that you will subscribe. I hope that you will like my videos. I hope that you will watch other videos on my channel. I want to thank you for taking some of your time to spend some time with me. I really do appreciate it. Take care.